So equation solving. Now I actually have 4 examples here of varying degrees. You're going to have a few more examples to do in the practice problems. The cosine of 2x equals negative 1/2. As I go through and try to think about what do I have to do to solve this equation, I'm still going to use basic equation solving techniques. The first thing I'm going to have to do, since 2x is in parentheses and I do have things outside the parentheses, those things outside the parentheses have to go. And really the only thing outside the parentheses is cosine. So cosine has to go. I have to get rid of cosine. So I look at this either doing an arc cosine or think, well, the cosine of something is negative 1/2. Is negative 1/2 one of the angles that we would get, or one of the values I would get if I would do cosine of one of my special angles? And the answer to that question is, well, yeah. Negative 1/2 is the result of me taking the cosine of either 2 pi over 3 or 4 pi over 3, if I look at my first rotation. So I do this. Now, so the 2 pi over 3 and 4 pi over 3, of course, makes sense from my knowledge of my special angles. The plus 2n pi is basically saying if I move an entire circle from 2 pi over 3 and an entire circle from 4 pi over 3, I would yet have another angle that would be coterminal to those angles specifically, and therefore they would have the same answer. They are all solutions. Okay? Now I have to divide, now to solve for x, I got to divide both sides by 2. So x equals pi over 3 plus n pi, or 2 pi over 3 plus n pi. And because they want all possible solutions between negative infinity to infinity, or all real numbers, that would be my answer, because these two formulas would produce every possible value of x. Now the problem is some students have a tendency to remember, like, well, 2 pi over 3 will do that. And they forget, well, there's another one too, in that first rotation. Because you want to think about every possible angle in that first rotation from 0 to 2 pi that's going to give you that answer. Okay? Before you call it quits. Because here I have 2 different categories that's going to produce each in and of themselves an infinite number of solutions. Now, most of the time, they're not going to say solve it for all real numbers. They're going to give you a defined, restricted range value for your x's.